The Cuyahoga Human Resources Appointments and Equity Committee is now called to order. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Ms. Turner.
Present.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Present.
Ms. Conwell.
Present.
Mr. Sweeney. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there any public comment?
No, Madam Chair, no one has signed in.
Thank you. Please call the first item. Oh, I'm sorry. May I have an approval of the minutes from the October 15th meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second? Moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you can call the first item.
Resolution 2024-0408, confirming the county executive's appointment of Richard Molina to serve on the Cuyahoga County Audit Committee for the term January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2028.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Chris Alvarado on behalf of County Executive Chris Ronayne. Pursuant to Section 11.01 of the Cuyahoga County Charter, I'm here to recommend the appointment of Richard Molina to serve on the Cuyahoga County Audit Committee for the term January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2028. We are not requesting a second reading suspension.
Well, thank you. Good morning. Please state your name for the record.
Good morning. My name is Rich Molina, and I'm happy to be here this morning. Since I've never appeared here before, I'd like to start by telling you a little about myself and then discuss why I'd like to be a member of the Audit Committee and what I think I can add as value to that committee. I'm a native of Cleveland. Most of my family has always lived in Cuyahoga County. During my professional career, I worked in northwestern Ohio and then Texas. And after I retired from the corporate world in 2010, I relocated back to Ohio, to this part of Ohio. So you can kind of call me a boomerang. I wanted to be closer to family, friends, and sometimes some very mediocre professional football. By way of education, I am an MBA, JD, and I have a master's in law, especially in tax. I'm a CPA and a certified internal auditor, or CIA. Most of my work in the corporate world was in taxation. But what is of particular relevance about my private sector experience was what I saw in the transformation of organizations in the early 2000s. After some very famous corporate scandals like Enron, WorldCom, Tyco, organizations, including the one I worked for, became much more proactive in terms of assessing risks that they face and thinking about how they would go about mitigating those risks. It was during that period that organizations started to implement Sarbanes-Oxley, which was passed by Congress, implementing risk assessment process referred to as enterprise risk management, or ERM, and organizations also got serious about thinking about how to prevent fraud from occurring. And interesting, I was fortunate enough to be able to work with our internal auditors and our consultants on those various activities in terms of implementing them. It was a nice reprieve from tax. After retiring from the corporate world, as I said, I relocated back to Cuyahoga County and was fortunate enough to begin teaching at Cleveland State in 2010. I've been a full-time member of the accounting faculty since then. Most of my teaching over the last 10 to 12 years has been in the internal auditing area. In short, I teach students how to perform risk assessments, how to evaluate risks, and how to mitigate risks through controls. I also stress the importance of auditor independence and objectivity, and the importance of earning the trust of their many constituents. I spend a considerable amount of time with practitioners in the internal auditing profession to remain up to date with hot and important issues in the field. I'm also on the Board of Governors for the Northeast Ohio chapter of the Institute of Internal Auditors. Based on all this, I think I can add to the mission of the Audit Committee by providing direction and guidance to a fine team of auditors currently employed by the county. I say this after having done some review of the current audit plan, the most recent external quality assessment of the department, and some recent audit reports. In my opinion, the role of internal auditing, there are twofold: promote the efficient operations of Cuyahoga County, and to detect and prevent the loss of resources through fraud or by people perhaps not doing things that should be done. As a committee member, a resident of the county, and a taxpayer, I want our internal auditing team to succeed and to be best in class. I'm very willing to answer any questions that you may have.
Well, thank you for that presentation.
All right.
As an educator, you should know the importance of a good presentation. Answered all of my questions, so.
Well, as an educator, I hope I didn't bore you. I
Oh.
get that rap sometimes.
No. But since you mentioned that you have delved a little bit into our strategies, do you think that there are any specific county offices or functions that you believe warrant internal auditing?
I'm actually interested in seeing at some point the risk assessment that's done. As I understand it, there's we call it an audit universe of about 74 different areas of the county that are evaluated based on risks that those areas encompass. And the idea is to audit the most risky areas because, we have limited resources on the internal auditing staff. So that, I'm particularly interested in seeing the risk assessment for all those different units.
And with all the experience, wealth of knowledge that you bring to this appointment, why Cuyahoga County? What made you interested in serving on this audit committee?
Oh, I'm a resident of Cuyahoga County. I'm a native Clevelander. Anything I could do in terms of kind of making things better, I like to do that. If I could share some expertise, shed some light, I'd love to do that.
Well, we can see that you're definitely passionate about this issue, so
Thank
I'm
you.
sure you would be a great asset. I want to open it up for any questions from my colleagues. Councilman Sweeney.
On here. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. So, Richard, welcome.
Thank you.
A couple thoughts I have from your presentation is just, how'd we find you? Or how'd you find us?
I was actually contacted a while ago by Mr. Abuzerhall, who is coming off the committee. And he asked me what my interest would be. And I'd say, sure, I'm, more than willing to share whatever experience or expertise I have.
Through the chair, then he recommended you to the administration called you?
Yes.
Okay. Through the chair, you're just really humble. You mentioned hopefully you might be able to add some value to the process. I just see you as leading the way because of all your expertise. So.
Well, thank you.
And then my last one is through the chair, 74 different entities that could be audited, and we determine which ones we audit by highest risk.
Yes.
How do you deal with the ones that if they know they're not high risk, they might have a chance or thought process they can horse around because they won't ever be audited. Do you throw that in the mix in your calculations?
Lower risk entities are, what I've seen are typically audited then on a rotational basis. In the company I was with, I led a tax organization, and believe it or not, we were always considered low risk by the internal audit. So every 3 or 4 years, they would just visit us, just to keep us on the radar screen, see what's going on. So you could do a rotational audit of the low risk. The idea behind a risk-based audit plan is, because you don't have unlimited audit resources, get those areas that have the highest risk, or areas where perhaps, someone in county leadership would like internal auditing to take a look at.
And through the chair, thank you for that fuller explanation, and welcome aboard.
Well, thank you.
Any questions? So, since you shared with us that you were recommended by an outgoing member, did that outgoing member give you any updates about what's been going on with the audit committee for the past
No.
few years?
No, not recent.
Okay, that's good. We have new leadership there, and we're very excited about you joining once we move forward. And it seems like you gave us a pretty thorough presentation. Seems like we don't have any more questions for you this
Okay.
morning.
All right, well,
Okay.
thank you then.
All right, so with that being said, I will make a motion to approve
Second.
full body for second reading. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Resolution 2024-0409, confirming the county executive's reappointment of the Honorable Mayor Justin Bibb to serve on the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission, representing the Cleveland region, for the term January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2027.
Thank you. Chris Alvarado on behalf of the county executive. Pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 713.22, and Cuyahoga County Code, Section 206.12, I'm here to recommend the reappointment of the Honorable Mayor Justin Bibb to serve on the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission.
Thank you. Is there anyone speaking?
I can speak on behalf, but we also have Mary Serby, who is the director of the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission, here as well.
Please join us. Good morning.
Good morning, Mary Serby, Director of the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission. Mayor Bibb has an alternate named that has been serving for the past 3 years. That is Joyce Wong, who is the Director of the Planning Commission for the City of Cleveland. She's been very engaged, regularly attending. We're working on projects with her and her team, so she's really been a great addition to the board. Understanding Mayor Bibb is by bylaws and by charter is allowed to appoint an alternate. That is how it has operated, and we're very glad to have her as an alternate. And I know that may come separately. The letter has been received, but I don't think it made it in time for the packet for this as approving an alternate at this time. I would ask Chris, any update on that?
No, we anticipate submitting the letter appointing Ms. Wang as the alternate for Mayor Bibb at the next HRAE committee.
Are there any questions for the Councilwoman Conwell?
So I just want to ask, when are the mayor's offices notified that there's to appear here, or there's an opening, or is that coming from the administration's office or the planning commission's?
Yes, ma'am, Councilwoman. It does come from the executive's office. So several months ago, Director Serby notified us that we had 3 reappointments that were scheduled. We reached out to each of the mayors, I want to say, in late September, early October, to make sure that we were able to get this before this committee. So yes, we notified each of them, and they all accepted the renomination. We did ask them to leave open this date to appear in person, and we're informed that because these were all reappointments, that wouldn't be necessary.
Okay, so just going forward, because I was one of the ones that implemented this back in the day, that we understand that individuals, wherever they come from, have busy schedules. So that's why we put in part where, because they could be out of town or whatever, a letter stating in their writing that they would like to be reappointed. But reappointments, appointments, they all come before us. The only out that they have is that letter if there's a schedule conflict.
Yes, ma'am, I apologize.
That on the record.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilman. And through the chair, Councilman, I know you're a board member as well, and we did notify at past board meetings that we did have those 3 seats expiring, so they were notified as the process was beginning with the administration.
Okay.
So this is their first term, so this is their first reappointment.
Right, so in all transparency, I know that I had a conversation with my team, and maybe I didn't read an email that suggested the other 2 mayors would not be appearing. I was aware that Mayor Gallo was not, so I'll make sure that I read my emails in the future. But I think it might be beneficial that the, what do you call it? The designee, if they're actually going to be the persons attending on behalf of their mayor, that they could appear. So let's consider that moving forward. Okay. Thank you,
Thank you.
Director. Yeah. Did you, 1 second.
No, just
Oh.
to you.
I'm good there. I fully agree. If we're going to be appointing people to boards, they should be here, regardless of their schedule. We'll schedule around them. Mayor Bibb, and not just to pick on him, but Mayor Jackson before that was on the Just Center Jail Committee, and I think we had them show up one time over a 3-year period. It's kind of ridiculous. If they're going to appoint somebody to sit in that chair, that person should be at that podium, because we should know who's going to be sitting on these boards. And if they don't want to sit on the boards and it's an honorarium, well, we're not into that. So, and that's for the administration. Let's pick people that want to be on the board, that want to show up, and just don't want it behind their name. Let's get the person in front of us that we're at least owed that. And this has gone on a little bit too much, and especially, and I understand mayors are busy, but guess what? So are we.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And through the chair to Councilman Gallagher, we do have a letter that was received of Mayor Bibb appointing Director Wong to the position. So we'll make sure we have crystal clear going forward. But she's been attending regularly at all the meetings as his alternate. So very much engaged from the City of Cleveland standpoint.
Councilman.
Through my chair and to my chair, just so I'm clear, it's, when I walked in here, it was the people that are getting reappointed don't have to come. So that's not accurate. And Mayor Gallo asked to be excused, and you said yes, and Mayor Alcott, because it's not a scheduled conflict, I don't think, they were told not to come. Is that accurate to the administration?
Chris Alvarado on behalf of the administration. So we did contact each of the mayors. I believe Mayor Bibb was not able to schedule for today. We did have Mayors Gallo and Orcutt available for this, and they would have been able to come to this committee meeting. I was informed that it wasn't necessary for them to do so. I apologize, though. I can certainly make sure that they come in the future.
Yeah, I just wanted clarity, because I'm good with that. But it must have been a miscommunication.
Thank you.
Mr. Nani?
That is correct. As it relates to Mayor Orcutt and Mayor Gallo, we did have a discussion, and I had made the request that since they were recently in front of this body, that they did not have to come in. So I just wanted to clarify that that was part of that communication as well, where we talked.
Part of the team.
Councilman Miller?
Madam Chair, to the administration, whoever would like to answer it, do the governing documents require that mayors be appointed, or could we choose, since Mayor Bibb apparently doesn't attend any of the meetings, could Ms. Wong be appointed directly to the position rather than being the alternate?
Through the chair to Councilman Miller, it is in Resolution 20615. There are ordinance, there's a resolution that council passed that names the members of the County Planning Commission, and it is the chief elected official of a representative of each of the planning regions. So it does have to be the mayor. And as history has shown, the mayor of Cleveland has always designated an alternate in writing that's been approved, and I know that's who serves that position for the city of Cleveland.
Thank you.
If I can, just to add one, additionally, there's 2 council members that serve, and council staff are also alternates if they can attend.
Councilman Gallagher?
Ma'am, is it your experience that other mayors appoint people to sit in their stead?
Through the chair to Councilman Gallagher, no. Typically, it is only council, county council staff is allowed to appoint alternates, and the city of Cleveland has appointed alternates. There is in our bylaws that we are going through with legal right now and doing some revisions that technically any member, if they can't come, they could send an alternate, but we don't have an attendance requirement because most of our members attend regularly. It just would change the dynamic of, someone coming sometimes and someone else coming another time. So we really do stick to the appointee, and they just need to notify us that they will not be attending. And if they did want to send somebody, they could let us know.
Thank you.
Okay, so, thank you, Director. So I just want to say for the record that as chair, I reserve the right to continue to communicate with the administration and our staff as it relates to how these issues come up. I did have a conversation with the chief of staff. I remember specifically about Mayor Gallo. I was confused about the other 2 mayors, which I have been informed that the request was made via writing. So I did not read that correspondence. But again, as chair, I think we all reserve the right to make the decisions for our own committee. So if there is a designee, it would be my preference that the designee is present, in addition to whatever letter they may wish to submit. Okay? All right. So I will, at this time, make the motion to move this item to the full body of council for second reading. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution 2024-0410, confirming the county executive's reappointment of the Honorable Mayor Marie Gallo to serve on the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission, representing the South Central Region for the term January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2027.
Thank you. Chris Alvarado on behalf of the county executive. I am here to recommend the reappointment of the Honorable Marie Gallo to serve on the County Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you. Anyone speaking on her behalf or same situation, no letter?
Good morning, Mary Serby, Director of the Planning Commission. Yes, Mayor Gallo, she actually, her term was shorter. This is a reappointment because she filled former Mayor Gallagher's position on our board, so she didn't have a full 3-year term. So this is really her first 3-year term appointment. So she's been very actively engaged as well.
And we thank her for her service. I will make the motion to move this item to the full body of council for second reading. May I have a second?
Second. Madam Chair, may I say that I believe Mayor Gallo, she came last time, right?
She did, yes. Mhm.
And it was close, so sometimes we allow that if they're filling in, but.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Could you please add my name, if you don't mind?
Please add the councilman's name.
Mine as well. Thank you.
Councilman Miller. Okay, please read the next item.
Resolution 2024-0411, confirming the county executive's reappointment of the Honorable Mayor Edward Orcutt to serve on the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission, representing the Southwest Region, for the term January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2027.
Chris Alvarado, on behalf of the county executive, I'm here to recommend the reappointment of the Honorable Mayor Edward Orcutt to serve on the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission.
Thank you.
Mary Serby, Director of the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission. This is Mayor Orcutt's second term. He has been very active and involved in our board, and so we support his recommendation to continue on our board. He's very excited, and I had emailed all of the three, and they all, were very willing to continue serving on the board, so.
And we thank them for it. I'll make the motion to move this item to the full body of council for second reading. Can I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Could you have my name as well?
Please add the councilman's name.
I like that.
Okay. Is there any miscellaneous business? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.